Hello, Anime VISOR here,
and SiGNUM,
with a review for the Dream Ranker arc in a certain scientific Railgun T, aka the last 10 episodes of Railgun T. To start things off, this was not my ideal way to review this anime. Obviously, due to the pandemic, Railgun T's arcs got divided up. I would have preferred to keep the review together, but when the first arc ended, there was still a lot of uncertainty on when the second half would air, and if it would air uninterrupted. We had to wait a couple of months for the second half. Of course, with 2020, a couple of months feels more like 6.
You humans have such an odd concept of time to me.
We do indeed, but staying on point, once Railgun T started airing again, it aired uninterrupted. So before I jump into the review proper, I want to say thanks for all the hard work during these uncertain times for Railgun T. The director, all the script writers and animators, the episode directors, the cast, just everyone involved creating this anime during this time. Making an anime is not easy. On top of that, it's the third season of a well-beloved anime throughout Japan, China, the US, and other parts of the world, and made during the worst pandemic in the last 100 years. So again, thanks to everyone who worked on and made this anime possible, giving fans a little light in these trying times.
Thank you.
Alright, I assume you've already watched my review for the first half of Railgun T. If not, check out the card in the upper right. But without further ado, let's dive into my thoughts on the Dream Ranker arc here in Railgun T. Having concluded the Daihasei Festival, a variety of cards are now circulating Academy City. Called Indian Poker, these cards, once placed on a user's forehead while sleeping, lets them view the dreams of another person, not only letting the user experience the dream of another, but also can be used for very effective sleep learning. At first, having little issue outside a couple of instances, like with a certain pervert, Makoto Misaka sees nothing wrong, but is later informed by Misaki Shokuho that there is another aspect to the cards, one dealing with the creation of a soul, prompting Misaka to look into the cards, and more specifically, their creator.
第3位の美坂美琴ちゃんは気強そうやけどな。逆にそれをして猫耳と尻尾つけてからしてし放題。
While Makoto Misaka looking for the truth behind the cards is the nitty-gritty of the Dream Ranker arc, it takes a few episodes to really build up to that. And I want to stress that's not a bad thing in this case.
Why not?
Not only are a lot of those episodes building up what Indian poker is and how it's being used, but these are some of the funniest and most slice-of-life episodes in Railgun, and maybe even Index to date. While there's some fairly serious stuff going on with Kuroko and the Treasure Hunter app, the episode dealing with Misaka and Sai-ai Kinohata, who we've seen a few times before in both Railgun and Index, looking for the bust upper Indian poker card, was fun and cute. And while the story with Satin and Frenda, looking for the Tweezers card, turns pretty serious towards the end, it again started off very fun and slice-of-life-like. And I appreciate that the series has given us a little more insight into Kinohata and Frenda's personalities and character. Railgun T has had some really cool battles and moments, but little character moments like these really help tie everything together. And I should add that includes the shenanigans the members of Scavenger get into. Makes them all more endearing, and when things do inevitably hit the fan, you're much more invested in the character's plight. Like when the leader of Scavenger is trying to lie her way through dealing with Misaka. We know she's technically on the bad side, but it's easy to be on the edge of your seat wondering if Misaka is going to find out what they are really up to. So just little moments like that made this arc in Railgun T really enjoyable.
絡んできたから撃退したけど、あれはあんたたちのお仲間。
In addition to all that, and I'm not sure how accurate this is to say, but I feel the facial expressions during this arc were some of the most outlandish and just plain funny expressions in Railgun. Index and Toma from the Index series will have some pretty funny expressions occasionally, but this feels like it was the first time it was so apparent in Railgun, and seemingly much more than in the first arc, especially with Misaka. I'm sure she's had a few over the years, but I don't recall anything to this degree. Maybe that's just my poor memory.
It most likely is.
But I really liked how cartoony, for lack of a better word, some of the facial expressions were during this arc. Moving on, the fight and action scenes were really good, and it had very good animation and cinematography. But on the character side of things, this arc was a crucial reminder of just how strong Misaka is. During the Sisters arc, she was up against Accelerator, and during Index 3, there was some crazy magic stuff going on. And of course there was her level 6 shift attempt. But it feels like it had been a while since we'd seen Misaka go full out as a level 5. Gunha was doing some crazy stuff in the first half of the season, another level 5, and Shokuho has her mental out, where she's able to control almost anyone outside a select few, so it was really nice seeing what Misaka could do as a level 5. It's easy to forget throughout Index and Railgun that she is the number 3 ranked level 5, and when she goes full kaiju with her powers, it's a nice reminder on why she's ranked number 3. That, and I'm also a sucker for good cinematography that really shows the weight and scale of big monsters, like they did here in Railgun T. And it made it very enjoyable for me to watch, on top of Misaka getting some really cool action scenes that serve as a reminder of just how strong she is. Putting the two arcs together that make up Railgun T, everything that happened here in the Dreamranker arc, everything that happened in the Daihasei Festival arc, and how it was all executed to a high degree, I think makes it the strongest of the Railgun seasons. That's before factoring in all the effort that was required to make this anime and release it during a pandemic. It's already a very good anime, but when you factor in the period of time it came out and all the work that must have gone into it, I think it takes something that was already very good and makes it very special, which may be something that gets lost to time, just how much effort and work had to go into this anime to get it to air during a pandemic. I bring that up because future Railgun and Index series fans may not realize how much of Railgun T's broadcasting was delayed and pushed back. And I'm not talking about fans in future generations from now, I'm talking about fans getting into the anime for the first time and start binging the series tomorrow. Because how many times have you watched an anime and checked the air date for every episode?
Hardly ever.
Exactly. So new fans may not realize just how hectic the release schedule was for this anime and how much work went into it. Hopefully, future fans can watch it in a period of human history that isn't so crazy, but for those of us who did watch Railgun T as it aired when it could air, during this hellish period of time, and whether we all agree that it's a good anime or not, I think we can all agree that this anime was at least special. In not so many words, the Railgun series, and especially Railgun T, are worth watching. I think with everything that happened regarding the story, characters, and all the work that had to go into it just for it to come out, Railgun T became my favorite entry in the Railgun and Index series. I have no doubt we'll get more Index someday, as there's still a lot of source material untouched, but it'll probably be a while before we get a 4th season of Railgun. Though I guess Astro Buddy may be in the cards, no pun intended, as that little spin-off series ties up the last of the loose ends dealing with Indian poker. But we'll just have to wait and see what's next with the Railgun and Index series. With all that said, what are your thoughts on Railgun T and the Dreamranker arc? Let us know in the comments below. As always, I've been Anime Visor.
And I've been SiGNUM.
Once again, thanks to all the staff that made Railgun T possible.
Thanks again.
And see you later.
Bye bye.